Hey guys, so today I really wanted to talk to you about Polaroid. They have some big changes coming up with their company, and I get the question a lot about what exactly is the difference between these type of cameras and what makes them so special. Why do you even shoot film? I gotta say, this is my favorite Polaroid that I own. I did have the SX70 and I sold it because it just didn't get the photos that I like. I like these sort of 90s looking photos, the really cool hipster vibe that's going around, and I'll show you the difference in those photos. Like, this is one taken under perfect settings, perfect conditions on the SX70. This is the older sort of folding Polaroid camera, but I got these kind of photos quite frequently because it's just so hard to manage as far as the settings and the lighting, and you need it to be really still and really perfectly set. However, when I started shooting with this Polaroid 600, I started getting really good photos with good exposure. Not perfect, but you don't want them to be, because that's the whole point of these. You want them to look kind of vintage, sort of cool, and you get this neat look to them. As far as film, I also get asked the question, what kind of film do these cameras take? They take the Impossible Project film. For these sort of type cameras, they'll have it listed. They'll show you a little picture on their website of what kind of film goes with what kind of cameras, so that you don't buy the wrong type of film. So what are these big changes coming up at Polaroid? Depending on where you live, they might have already happened. Polaroid is getting into the digital game. They have been for a few years now, but they're really pushing it because they're wanting to compete with GoPro. Not necessarily on the competitive sports level or the extreme sports level, but on the average everyday person level. They're wanting to introduce the Polaroid Cube, which is a really cool device that shoots 1080p video as well as photos, super portable, and I love the fact that it's 35 millimeters, which means that that's its size, 35 millimeters by 35 millimeters by 35 millimeters. Does not take 35 millimeter film. So I don't know if that was sort of for irony, that it's sized the way it is. I think it's a good step for Polaroid. They're also introducing the Social-matic, which is a social printing camera. I'm not so on board with that as I am the Polaroid Cube, because the Polaroid Cube is going to be much more affordable, much more accessible to everybody, and it is a neat step for them because they're keeping the original design and sort of staying true to what Polaroid's always been about, fun and reaching the everyday person. For example, not everybody wants to pay $200 for the cheapest model GoPro, but most people would be willing to pay $100 for a really good video camera that's portable and can capture those everyday moments. So Polaroid's been around forever. They're not what they used to be, of course, because very few companies ever stay with their original sort of cornerstone products. The Polaroid cameras are still available used many places, eBay, Amazon. Just watch and don't buy like one to where you get ripped off. Impossible Project sells them too. They're a bit overpriced with Impossible Project, but the main reason I think most people shoot these Polaroids is to go back to the roots of photography, to this really magic feeling of watching a photo develop. Not necessarily, you don't get to do that as much anymore because Impossible Project film is light sensitive, so you kind of keep that out of the light for the first bit. It's just the fact that there is this piece of the past that we can connect to and that we can still enjoy. I love Polaroid, I always will. And if you love cameras and all that cool stuff, be sure to hit the subscribe button because you're definitely welcome here.